Yes, guys, what's good? You tuned into Mango Masala. My name's Gurns, and I am joined here with Priyasasha Kumari, best known for the new revival series of Waterloo Road and her role Samia. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks. I was saying before, thank you so much for actually taking the time to come out and speak to us.
Oh, you're welcome anytime.
First of all, as well, obviously Waterloo Road, based in Manchester. Are you from Manchester or?
I'm not, no, I'm a Midlands girl.
I thought that because again, I was saying when I was doing my research, I saw Wolverhampton
Yeah.
theatre, and I was like, okay, but you know what? We'll allow it. We'll allow it.
Hopefully my accent is good enough on the show,
exactly.
guys.
That's the thing, because I wasn't expecting that. So, for the people out there that maybe haven't seen Waterloo Road or don't know that much of you, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, I'm an actress. I play Samia Choudhry in Waterloo Road. Before this, I haven't really done too much, to be honest. Waterloo Road is like the breakthrough role for me, as they say. I did like previous things like Doctors. I feel like when you're from the Midlands, if you haven't done the Doctors yet, it's like your initiation to like the acting world. And I did a few theatre things before too. And that's about it, really. A lot of my life I've just been working, like full-time work, irregular jobs, and just like trying to do acting on the side and just juggle the both.
I think it's a stereotype, but it's also true that getting into the acting career, a lot of the time it is a lot of a grind until you get your big break. How is it actually juggling that 9 to 5 life with trying to get acting jobs as well?
I'm literally going to be real. It's so hard. It's really hard, and I feel like you need to have a lot of willpower and like resilience and just like determination to like get to where you want to be. It's like I'm 27 now, and this is my breakthrough role, and I've been doing it since I graduated. So I graduated in 2016 when I was 18. And then I went to full-time working. I've mentioned this before, like I used to work in Nando's, I've worked in Aldi, I've worked literally every kind of job I've worked. And alongside all of those, like I was attending the Central Youth Theatre where I was a member, and they gave me opportunities to direct there with them. And then just from there on, I just kind of found my own way in terms of like creating headshots and working with everybody in like the industry. For example, in the Birmingham community, I've got a lot of people that have helped me out in short films and everything like that. So you just kind of find your way. But it's like how they say, oh, don't ever give up. It's so cliche, but like, I don't know how else to describe it. It's like if you know what you want, then you'll work for it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And what I've like recently come to realize is that it's kind of less about motivation and more about discipline. Like for me personally, you just kind of have to set your mindset to where you want it to, for the end goal sort of thing.
Yeah. And I feel like it's weird because acting in general, I don't think is as much of an advocated career path within South Asian cultures, but at the same time, that grind that you have to actually get places in it is very much rooted in South Asian culture as well. So it's kind of
it's kind of like a mix of the both, but also it's like I have like a really supportive family, but I've still had like, don't get me wrong, I've still had like aunties that have been like, don't you think you need to get a proper job now? Like it's just the norm, and I suppose it comes from a lot of viewpoints in terms of the creative industry on a whole. I don't think that a lot of our jobs are seen as like a serious job.
Yeah, there is a very niche collection of jobs which are actually seen as that. Instead of but it should be commended as well. I think the fact that you have worked this hard and you have got to where you are. Like,
oh, thank you.
I'll be obviously graduating in 2016. It's been a while. It's been a while coming.
It's a journey, but I think that that's what's most important to focus on is the journey and not the end goal sort of thing. Like for me, Waterloo Road is a blessing, and it's a stepping stone for me into the industry, and it's not the be all and end all. And I think that that's what people kind of they tend to get confused, or they misinterpret of like, if you make one big job, then that's it. But it's not, because you still got to keep going.
Exactly. Like after Waterloo Road, or for however long you're on the series or the series continues, you don't want it to be, you don't want to peak, you know what I mean? Like I think it's kind of a thing, like in any career you shouldn't you should enjoy it when you're soaring high, but you should never really be like, okay, this is it now, I don't need to do anything more. Like it is like, it's important not to lose that sense of grind that got you there in the first place.
Yeah, exactly that. And there's still more grinding to do, you know.
Getting into Waterloo Road now, obviously new series. I binge watched it in like 3 days, really enjoyed it. I mean, there was only 7 episodes, so I was kind of like, I got to the end of it and I was like, oh, like, I don't know how long I'm gonna have to wait now. Yeah, exactly. And it's as well like releasing it all on iPlayer at once. Like I wasn't necessarily used to that for something like Waterloo Road, so it was quite of an interesting way of watching it as opposed to having to wait each week, though I suppose there might be people out there that are doing that.
Still.
So tell us a bit about your character Samia, and like also, how was the part written beforehand, or did they kind of audition and then they wrote parts for people that they liked? Like how did that come about?
So originally Samia Choudhry was as she was written as a South Asian character, and then I think, so for example, I did a self-tape and then I had a recall for another self-tape, and then I went in to do a chemistry read, and then from the chemistry read, like 2 days later, I found out I got the job. And then we had like an induction week where everybody met up, and we had a round table where we had read the first and second episode. And then from then, like we just had workshops and meetings was more so to like adapt the character to whoever they'd casted, because there were a lot of changes. I think Adam Mali, he's spoken about changes that he made to his character too. And I think it's more to just to adapt to our personal selves, and also to relate to, for example, because I'm South Asian, to make her more relatable to me, so it's easier to play, sort of thing. And I think it's really important that they understand as well what comes with casting a South Asian actress or artist. So it's really important for me, and I think the meetings were really good, and the BBC have been amazing in terms of, you know, understanding what diversity is and how we incorporate that into the scripts. But Sammy is a great character. Like I love her. She's bright. She says it how it is. She's not afraid to speak her voice. And she's intelligent. I mean, I feel like she's more outspoken than I was when I was at school. I wouldn't be that troublesome, to be fair. I was quite a goody two-shoes. I was a chatterbox, though.
Yeah, but she is like that as well. Like she seems to kind of be excelling in all the different areas. Although she lost out on school council, didn't she?
She was fuming. Yeah, I mean, that was a bit of an ego hit for her, bless that. But yeah, she's an interesting character, because even though she has it all, she kind of is still lost. She's still lost, and she's still trying to find herself. And we definitely get to see more of that in her as it continues.
You know, the thing that I liked as well was, I mean, I'm sure this will probably be touched upon at some point, inevitably. And I think it would be great as well if there was some storyline in the future that was related to Samia's South Asian background or something to do with that. But the thing that I liked was in those first 7 episodes, that wasn't necessarily the cliche thing. Do you know what I mean? It was so like we're introduced to this main South Asian character who's like, almost, she is like the it girl at school. She's dating the captain of the basketball team, this, that, the other. And it doesn't need to be like, there's this storyline relating to some kind of, you know, like the typical cliche stuff. And I mean, I'm sure like that potentially might come up at some point in the future, but for me, it was kind of nice to see that on screen and that not be how we're introduced to the character. Like she is more than that, you know.
I'm very glad that you've said that, because that was one of the main things for me when I was speaking to producers. I was like, we both had an understanding that we didn't want to go down like a stereotypical South Asian storyline, and we wanted to steer like away from those perspectives, because I think we don't need to keep seeing the same storylines of like she can't do anything, she can't have a boyfriend, and she's like oppressed and things like that.
Star-crossed lovers kind of.
Yeah. And I think what was nice about that storyline is that they just made it like they made a mixed interracial couple, like, and it was fine. And it was like it wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing to talk about. It was just normal. And I think that represents kind of like a lot of the youth today. Like everyone's slowly like coming into like the westernized version of community that we live in today, I'd say. So a lot of people could relate to that, I'd say.
I think similar as well with like Kai as well.
Yeah.
Thinking about when Waterloo Road first came out, I think the idea of having a very openly queer Middle Eastern character on, like, you know what I mean, being part of the main friendship group, it almost was unrealistic, or you would never see that sort of thing. Whereas now, I think that is more of a reflection of, I mean, I don't know because I'm not in school or anything, but I think it is a bit more reflective of how times have changed and people are a bit more open, and it is perfectly normal for us to see that, like, that is a popular person, you know what I mean, rather than having to be forced to be closeted or conforming to certain ways in order to be seen as cool, that sort of thing. Like, it allows for further character development in other areas as well. So,
and I think like what the show does well is, because it's so known for its like iconic storylines and it for it being like relatable to like today's topics and things like that. So when we were watching it back in the day, like we related to some of the things, and that's why we enjoyed it so much. And I think now it's so current and it's for like the youth of the day. But I think, I mean, it's a show for everyone, but I do, from my personal opinion, I do think it's more for like today's generation, because it's more open to conversations and topics that we're all having today.
So, like, thinking about those iconic storylines, have you been like a fan of Waterloo Road like since the beginning?
Yeah. Literally, I used to watch it all the time. So it was funny because me and Alicia Ford, who plays Kelly Jo, when we started filming for like Ep 1 and 2, we were like watching the odd series, and it was just so funny because you see like the first episode of like Dante, and he's driving the limousine, and it's like, it's so crazy how you get like, we're bringing like a bit of nostalgia back from those series into the new series, and it's just in like different, it's just like slowly pocketed into the storylines, which is nice.
Yeah, no, it's nice to have that sense of like continuity as well, and it's nice for like the OG fans to kind of see like, oh, this is where people ended up. Like, even like, for example, Janice turning up like halfway through.
Good to have it. It's good to have her back.
Yeah, definitely. So what was it like, obviously, having seen the old series to now become a part of that universe? Like, it's literally like Marvel,
it's so, like... yeah. It's very surreal, to be honest. I feel like even now, like, you don't kind of believe that you're filming the show, sort of thing. And it's crazy because now it's like on air and it's out and loads of people have watched it. And the positive feedback has just been so lovely. Like, everyone has really appreciated the new characters and their own journeys and the way what they're going through. And I think that's what's so rewarding, is that people are relating to the storylines, and that's all you can really hope for as an actor, really, is that you produce a piece of work and it resonates with someone, or at least one person.
For sure.
Yeah.
So for people out there that haven't actually watched the series yet, which I was very happy to go on iPlayer the other day and see, you know how like normally, like for radio, for example, it's only available for like 28 days. And so available for over a year. I was like, right, no excuse then. Yeah. For anyone that does want to go and actually watch it, you've obviously said about they've got these really good storylines. Is there any other reason or what people can expect that you can tell people as to why they should go and log onto iPlayer and do that now?
Oh, you definitely need to go and watch Waterloo Road, guys. I mean, like, period. No, but it's given everything. It's given you the drama. It's given you the love stories. It's given you a bit of tragedy. But it wouldn't be Waterloo Road without it, would it? So, yeah. And I think it's also like, expect the unexpected at times as well, because there's characters in there that form friendships with other characters and so forth, and relationships, and you just don't really see it coming. So I feel like it's definitely one of those that will make you want to watch more of it. And because there's only 7 episodes that have been released, everyone has been asking, when's it coming back? Well, I'll just have to wait and see, guys.
Right, so this is the part of the interview where we say spoiler alert. So if you don't want to know about what's happened in the series, then come back later when you have watched it. But yeah, speaking of tragedy, that first episode, I mean, I was saying when we were walking up, I wasn't very happy. but I mean, I got it. It allowed for a nice storyline throughout, but also, yeah, just cutting to the chase. What was it like for you, like reading that script and finding out, okay, in the first episode, we're literally killing off Chloe, literally one of the OG characters from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were shocked. We were like, is this real? Like, there's no way that they're going to do that to Chloe. And we thought, oh, maybe it's like a first draft and they're still toying with ideas. But they were like, no, it's final. We were like, oh my God, the fans are going to go crazy. Like, and you guys did. Like, the internet was going crazy when Ep1 aired. And like you said, like, because it released on BBC iPlayer before like the 8 p.m. show, people already knew about it. And we were like, I remember like I woke up and it was like a hashtag, like Chloe's death. And I was like, oh my God, people have already like sat there and watched it. It's crazy. And that was at like, I think that was at like maybe like 11 a.m. or something, or 10 a.m. And I think like it released on BBC iPlayer at like 6 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
So people were like really.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it as I thought it was a joke. Like, I was literally like, nah, surely not. Like, it was literally a tweet that was like, I feel like it was using a GIF of like Denise Welch as well. And it was like me when the producers kill off Chloe in the first episode. And I was like, nah, surely that's like not real. And then it was, and I was just like,
yeah.
Wow.
But is it like, if you literally watch episode 1, series 1 of the original Waterloo Road, like they hit you with it straight away. Like the crash happens.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I was thinking
it's what they're renowned for.
In that way, it's kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Like, literally, she's dying when she was actually the one who was responsible ages ago for that first car crash. Yeah, but that family just doesn't really catch a break.
They don't.
Does
No,
it?
they don't. They don't.
I mean, my question is, where's Mika? Like, why were you not at your sister's funeral? Or has she died as well?
I don't have the answer to that one. I'm sorry. It's also a little homage to like the old coming into the new sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's another way to view it, I suppose, and another way to like accept Chloe's death. But we love Katie, who plays her. She's amazing.
Yeah, I can't remember. Do you have any scenes together? But like, I suppose she must have been around the set.
We don't have any
thing.
scenes, no. But yeah, we've met
Sure.
a lot, or maybe I think all of us. Yeah, all of us met Katie. But yeah, she's amazing.
Cool.
She loved it as well. She loved I think she was in for a few weeks that she was filming. She had a great time.
Coming back to your storylines as Samia, obviously the main storyline for Samia is like, I think it's either episode 5 or 6, with the hot or not chat. So obviously someone set up this chat, they're talking rubbish about all the girls, being really degrading, and Samia is kind of leading the charge against that, whilst also facing the kind of personal battle of finding out that it's her own boyfriend that started it in the first place. So, I mean, we've obviously talked about how it was kind of nice for it not to be the typical South Asian storyline, but what was it like seeing, okay, this is a storyline that is mainly revolving around my character, and it's such like an empowering one, it's like girl power, that sort of thing. What was that like for you?
It was very uplifting to film those scenes, I'd say, and especially because it was with all the girls, and we were filming with the cheerleading squad as well, and they were amazing. Those types of storylines, I think they mean a lot to me. There's so many young girls out there who are maybe in a relationship and they don't know what gaslighting is, or they don't know what a toxic relationship is, or they don't sometimes see their value or their worth. And I think for them to see that on screen and maybe be like, actually, like, that's kind of happened to me, or we've kind of been in that argument, or he's spoken to me like that, or vice versa. That's what's good for me in terms of like as an artist, because you're relaying these messages out there for people to resonate with, and it makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, if one girl is watching that and then, like you say, sees that and is then like, okay, like actually that kind of does apply to my situation, and then gets out of that situation because of that, then
and you see it quite early on, to be fair. I'm pretty sure it's episode 3 or 4 where Preston just leaves Samia waiting all day, and he kind of turns the argument around onto her, and she ends up apologizing.
Yeah.
And I was actually watching that episode with one of my younger cousins. She's 11, I believe. And from just her watching that, and she was like, Priya Didi, so Didi's sister in Punjabi. She's like, Priya Didi, why did she just say sorry? It wasn't her fault, it was his. And I was like, oh my God, like, That's amazing that you've just watched that and realised the storyline without me having to explain anything. And from a young age, for you to acknowledge that just sets you up for the future. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think the earlier we realise these types of behaviours, it kind of encourages us to have a brighter future.
Well, very well said. No, but it's true, and I'm so glad that you were able to see that firsthand within your own family as well. So, like, beyond that as well, this new series, it's very up to date in terms of the storylines that it touches upon, like such as protest, police brutality, etc. Do you feel like that was the right decision? I mean, obviously it's the right decision, but like, do you feel like how do you feel about the fact that this series is kind of taking on these issues firsthand and putting them in there? Because I believe, like we say, this series is probably for mainly the young to young adult generation who have seen stuff in the news, especially over the past couple of years, that will have made them sit and think, and now they're seeing it portrayed in their favorite drama series as well. Like, do you think it's important to kind of bridge that gap?
I think it's important that we highlight these conversations and these topics that are happening in today's world, because I know that a lot of people, for example, like will watch TV or will watch anything like movies or series to kind of escape the real world. And I think that what the show does really well is that we highlight an issue, but it's in a way that it's not in your face, and it's not telling you, you're not escaping from reality, like, because it's still here, and we're here to remind you that this is what's happening. It's done in a way where you can go away and think about it, and you'll take some inspiration away from the show and be like, it'll make you think differently about, for example, how you act or how you behave, or what manner you use around certain type of people or around different subjects, or the way that you address a subject or a topic. I think that's what the show is there for, is just to create questions and to create conversations. And that's what art is about, right? That's why we do it.
No, definitely. I think you're right in terms of, at first I was kind of like the typical like Dean Weaver kind of characters. I was kind of a bit like, oh, here we go again, sort of thing. But it was actually kind of refreshing to see that kind of growth on his part as well. But in the first protest, he's literally like, what is this rubbish? Like, in the last episode, obviously, with the whole linking element of things, he's actually taking part as well. So I think hopefully that kind of message can be passed on to other people as well.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think like those characters, like, they have layers, and that's what you want to see. You want to see the character development. Like, you've got like these first instant characters where it's just for face value, but then there's more to them, and that's what is good about the show. Like, for example, even Noel's character at the beginning, like, him and Dean are literally like the two jokesters of the school, right?
Yeah, literally doing stuff for the sake of it, like it seems.
Yeah, exactly that. And they were like totally against like the school's name changing, but then they've learned, like, you've got like Dean is now dating Kelly Jo, do you know, in the show. So it's like,
yeah. And again, like at first, like when they first hinted at that, I was like literally like, Kelly, like I was literally like what Samia was like. I was like literally like, come on. But yeah, it's nice to see that growth by the end and sort of kind of give them the benefit of the doubt, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So obviously we're here, proper podcast setup and everything.
That's lovely.
Thank you. And you've been doing that as well, haven't you, for Waterloo Road podcast? So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So me and Adam Thomas, we host the official Waterloo Road podcast, and we just go by episode, just interviewing cast members and giving everyone a little insight to what's happened in that episode, what we get up to behind the scenes. That's it, really. We've been having a whale of a time. It's been so much fun.
Sure. So is that on BBC Sounds that you can go?
Yes, you can literally listen to it now, guys, on BBC Sounds.
Nice. Would you recommend listening to it like after each episode?
Oh yeah, because there's definitely spoilers in each of them, but we do tell you guys that there are spoilers at the beginning of each episode, so it's totally up to you, but you don't have to listen to them in order if you don't want to. Obviously you're already working with Adam Thomas, but what's it been like kind of doing the podcast with him as well in such close proximity, like sort of like the original Waterloo Road boy? Do you know what I mean? I know Adam. You know Adam, how you see him is how he is. Like, he's so funny, he's hilarious. And that was actually my first time doing a podcast, like hosting a podcast. Like, when I got asked to do it by the producers, I was like, oh, really? Like, me? So yeah, it was it was quite the privilege to work alongside Adam Thomas, and he showed me the ropes because he's got podcasts with his brothers. So he just was just like, just be yourself, relax, like it's fine. And you'll see, I feel like you'll kind of hear it throughout the podcast. There's like a few of them, because we didn't film them like in chronological order. I think we filmed like episode 1, like that was like one of the last ones we filmed. So I sound like totally like chattery in that one, and like comfortable. And like in one of the other ones, I'm a bit quieter because I was just like getting used to it. And he's showing me the ropes sort of thing. But yeah, we had a laugh. And I think that's what's like the great thing, is that we just have fun. It's kind of like not work.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that. I feel like working in media in any capacity, like once you actually get to that position, it is like I was just saying this the other day, like in terms of a working week, like I don't really feel like people were talking about having that Monday or Tuesday feeling, and I can't really relate to that.
No, because like sometimes I'm not in on a Monday, and then sometimes I'm in. Like sometimes I'll do like filming 5 days a week, or I'll just do 1 day of filming a week. So it's just very sporadic. Like a creative's life is never in order. I'd say you kind of have to be used to like knowing the unknown all the time. Yeah,
for sure. As well as Adam Thomas, you had the opportunity to work alongside Angela Griffin as well.
Yeah.
I think one of my favourite scenes as well was when cheerleading incident. Yeah, and it's sort of like, you don't really need to do that. And she's like, yeah, I do. But then she's like, you're going to be a brilliant adult or something like that. I was just like, that's,
That was a little fun fact, that little bit. The end bit was like improvised.
That's amazing.
But we had an amazing director on that block. Her name's Michaela McPherson, and she was brilliant. Like she fully directed me and just like elevated me as an artist, and I really appreciated that. And as always, working with Angela is just, it's like, wow. Like you learn so much, and I think that's what's really good about being on the show. When we first started filming, just being on set with like all these amazing actors, it's like you're just constantly learning. And even like the students, like all of us, like we're just learning from each other. And even the kids, Summer and Scarlett, who play Tonya, and Izzy, and Chi Chi, who plays Shola, like we're learning from them as much as they're learning from us. And it's the same for like Adam. Like he's like, I'm learning from you guys as much as we're learning from him and everyone else on set. And it's just an all round like educational like workplace to be in, but also it's fun. Like everyone has so much fun.
No, actually the way you're talking about it makes it sound like such a positive.
It is.
I want to come be a Waterloo Road now.
Yeah, we'll get you on.
Something tells me that the beard would not go as like a
maybe
student.
We'll get you as like a teacher, like a substitute teacher or something.
See that? You're listening. Let's get that sorted. Coming to the end of the interview now, I thought we'd do a little bit of like a 1-word interview, quick fire type thing. So the idea here is that I'm going to ask you a question. You're meant to like answer quick without thinking too much.
Oh no.
And you can only say 1 word. Right, first up, favourite Waterloo Road character of all time?
Oh my god, that's so hard. I'm going to have to go with Janice.
And why?
Sassy.
Definitely. I think a lot of people would agree with you there. Bit more general. Series or movies?
All of a good series.
Why?
Engaging.
Yeah. I feel this is the thing, you keep on giving 1 word and I'm like, I kind of want to give us, even I'm the one who's decided to do this game. Right. Moving on. Best moment from the new series so far.
Can I say like the tree? I mean, that's even 2 words.
Tree.
If you know, then you know. But the storyline based around that.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
I literally feel like cavemen. Like
everyone's gonna try and guess what I actually mean. I need like translations and subtitles.
Yeah. And yeah, I suspected this beforehand, so I put in this question: Manchester or Midlands?
Oh, I mean Midlands all day, every day. I'm a Midlands girl at heart.
Why?
Because I'm from there. No, I'm joking.
I think you forgot the whole 1 word thing, but
it doesn't make it interesting if it's 1 word. Wait, this is like me proving that nothing. I've got nothing good to say, but I do. I actually do.
See, I could say Manchester, and I could say there's surplus. That's what I'd say, because there's a surplus of things.
Yeah, that's true. I'll say, you know what? Actually, Midlands, and my second word will be talent.
That is true. I think it does go undiscovered sometimes. Like
There's
people,
a lot of people I know in Wales that are like so talented.
like it's kind of like we quite often do this whole north-south divide thing in Midlands, kind of there, just kind of like help.
We're just there in the middle and no one really recognises us. So I'm putting us on the map. I'm putting Midlands on the map, guys.
As a like little tangent to that, how have you found like Manchester? Like, have you spent much time here before?
Yeah, I really like Manchester. It's a great city. I actually went to Manmet Uni.
Okay.
But I did draw the short straw and I was at the Crewe campus. But we used to come to Manchester quite a lot.
So you lived and studied in Crewe?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, very.
I mean, at least it was closer to home for you, I suppose.
Yeah, it was only like 30 minutes away.
Final question. Samia with Preston or Danny?
You guys don't know she's with Danny, though.
It's suggested.
Neither.
Why?
Oh, that's 2 words.
I'll allow 2.
Self-worth.
That's very good, to be fair. Yeah, correct answer. Well, see, I don't think that was that bad. I think you passed the one word interview.
I mean, I did like half of it with 2, like more than 1 word, but thanks.
To close, obviously we talked a bit before about how important it is. I think this was off air, but we talked a bit about how important it is to engage with the younger generations, show them, especially as South Asians, like how you can get into the arts, why you should like be breaking those barriers, getting involved. So for any aspiring young brown actors out there or people that want to get into media in general, what advice would you give to them?
You need to do your research in whatever field you want to do, whether that's writing, acting, directing, presenting. Definitely do your research in what area you want to go into in the creative field, because it's so big. There's so much things to do. And also do you need to go to uni? Those types of things. If you want to be an actor, do you need a show reel? Do you need to get your headshots together? Look at agencies. IMDb is great for that. Speak to people. That's the way that you'll get the most out of something. Because when I was still on my way, like I would speak to everybody. I'd go to networking workshops. And it's all about networking, especially in the creative industry, because it's like they say, it's who you know, not what you know. I
think that can be quite daunting at first, can't it?
Yeah, of course.
Even like in work that I've done before, like the whole idea of network, I mean, even now it still isn't my favorite thing to do, but I recognize that it's so important. And also I think going into it, you have to remember that everyone is there to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So you kind of going up and starting chatting to people, it's not weird. Like
it's not. Send that message as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the DM? Like, it's not going to harm anyone. The worst that can happen is that you'll be left on red. Being left on red is better than going up to somebody and then them just completely walking away and blanking you in real life. Do you know? It's
true. And also, it's better than not doing it and not knowing whether they would have replied in the first place.
And then at least you've put your own mind at peace, and you've done what you needed to do, and then you just keep it moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also like really like ask yourself, are you ready? Like, are you ready for the challenge? Because you'll get like 1,000 no's before it's a yes, and you have to be prepared to just go again and go again. And that's what's really important for me, to just keep always like reminding everybody that it's not an easy ride. And it may sometimes seem like that for a lot of people. Like, for example, if you go on my Instagram, you'll just see like, oh, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. But you don't actually see the work that you do to get to those positions. And you need to remember that. And like, social media is not really real. Yeah. It doesn't really show the realistic side of it. But I'd like to think that I keep reminding people of the realistic journey and version of life that we live, because it seems all glamorous, and sometimes it's not. You know, we're waking up at 5 a.m, sometimes 5:30, to go into work for like 13 hours a day. So you have to be prepared for long hours and work and be resilient.
Yeah, that's a good word, resilient.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely be resilient to the industry.
Cool. So if people do want to keep up with you, where's the best place to find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter. It's literally just at Priyasasha with 2 A's at the end.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me.